Before you start recording.
Let me start with let me share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen here? What do you see? A mountain, a rocky mountain?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So let's talk about the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam guide. Okay, you're gonna get this document as well. You're gonna get it. It's scheduled to be sent to you after class, I think. So what is the AWS Cloud Practitioner examination intended for? So individuals who have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to demonstrate basic knowledge of the AWS platform, including available services and their common use cases, AWS cloud architecture principles as the conceptual level, account security, and compliance. So some of the students were asking me if you have a security background, this AWS certification is good. I can tell you that it's awesome because AWS takes security very seriously. You know, many companies are trusting AWS to migrate all the services to them. So can you imagine if I have a company and I want to put my data, all of my services in your hands? I have to trust you, right? Because it's just a matter of security. So AWS is so secure that many 500 Fortune companies are migrating to the cloud. Last year, only 20% of the 500 Fortune companies were in the cloud. Only 20%. So people are still skeptical about the cloud. That's why AWS have three different models, like all in the cloud, a hybrid, and private. So many companies decide to go hybrid, you know, because when you have a hybrid, you still have control. If you are all in the cloud, you're just giving all the control to AWS. Not many people like that, okay? We're gonna talk about the different models that AWS has. So compliance, the candidate would demonstrate, this is what you guys will demonstrate, an ability, an understanding of AWS cloud economics, including costs, billing, and analysis, and the value proposition of AWS cloud. Now, very important, it's gonna be a multiple choice and multiple response exam. What do they mean by this? You may have only one answer, or you may have more than one. So that's what is tricky about the exam, this exam. Like, let me give you 6 options and you have to select 2 answers. And it's everything or nothing. I mean, in some exams, for example, for Microsoft Azure, if you fail one, you have to respond, you have to give 2 responses. You fail one, you still have a point. With AWS, it's not like that. You have 2 answers. If you fail one, you get 0. That's it. AWS is very rigid and tough when it comes to the exams. They want people that really know about the cloud. Okay, so you're gonna take the exam. In this case, in your case, you're gonna take the exam online because the Cloud Practitioner exam is proctored online right now for everybody. Not only because of, it's not because of the coronavirus. It's because they did that like probably 6 months ago, so people can take the exam online. So you're gonna schedule the exam, or we're gonna schedule the exam for you, and you're gonna have someone proctoring you, like someone in front of you. Of course, it's not gonna be there physically, but it's gonna be in the computer. Someone's gonna be in front of you, watching you through your camera, webcam, watching you, I mean, to see what you're doing and if you are compliant with all the regulations they have for online exams. The results, you're gonna get them probably the next day. They say that you get the results within 5 business days, but that's not entirely true. You take the exam today, tomorrow, you're gonna have the results. The score doesn't matter. What matters is either pass or fail, okay? So you don't get the score right off the bat. They tell you fail or pass. I can tell you there's no more gratifying feeling than seeing that pass word in front of you when you pass the exam. okay? But it takes time and effort, okay? You're gonna get it. So you're gonna get a certificate. You get a badge from AWS, so you can show your badge to employers and people or your network on LinkedIn. What are the domains that they assess in the exam? The cloud concepts, we're gonna see that. Security and compliance, we're gonna see that in class. Technology, we're gonna see that in class. And billing and pricing. Billing and pricing is heavy in the exam, okay? They want you to know how much they charge, how they charge people. That's very important. But as you can see here, the highest percentage is on technology, okay? So they want you to know about the technical component of the cloud. That's very important. Don't worry, you're gonna have that. If you do what I'm telling you guys, you're gonna pass the exam. I had 100% pass rate of a 25 class students in the last class. I had in my first class 26%, and I had in my second class 100%. It doesn't matter if you're a nurse. It doesn't matter if you are an IT guy. It doesn't matter. If you put in the time and the effort, you're gonna pass the exam. I can assure you that. I'm gonna give you all the resources, and I'm gonna keep you with all the knowledge that you need to pass that exam, for sure. Okay. So these are the domains and the specific points that they assess in the exam. You can go over this later, okay? As we don't have much time today. And I think it's very explained here, very well explained. Whatever you may have a question about, they may have the answer here. And if they don't have the answer, you know how to contact me. I will be there to help you understand whatever you need. Any other question? No, no questions? Okay, I see that the chat is, okay. Anyone has a question in the chat? I would have to.
I do have one question.
I would have to think about that tomorrow because I didn't set it up. I didn't set this up to stream it on YouTube. I would have to do that tomorrow because I didn't think about this. Okay.
And Mr. Altano?
Yes, go ahead.
I was looking at purchasing. Oh. I went on AWS.
I'm sorry. Before you continue, I forgot about this. There's labs. Okay, for every section, there's a lab. Okay, so you're gonna get the assignment after class, and then you're going to do the labs. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that when you purchased AWS, there were three options, whether the basic, the developer, and something else. I exited out of it. But which one would you recommend?
The basic is the one that is free.
The basic?
Hey, there are 4 support plans for AWS. You have enterprise, developer, business, and basic. That's something that's going to be in the exam. Okay, that's something that we're going to see in class as well. The basic plan doesn't include anything, just the basic stuff. I mean, free, the services that are free within a specific limit. Okay.
Okay.
So you're supposed to choose basic.
Okay.
Because if you choose developer, that's gonna be like $29 a month.
Yeah.
And then if you choose business, it's gonna be $100 a month. And if you choose enterprise, it's gonna be $15,000 a month. So that's a lot of money. Okay. So obviously we want to choose basic.
Okay.
Okay. So here we have, welcome to the AWS Academy. Okay. So what are we going to see here? Okay. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to interrupt me. Okay. So what is this in this module? A course overview and objectives, create your AWS training portal account, access your course material, and optional, create your AWS free tier account. That's what was one of the assignments for yesterday, because we're gonna use the console. We're gonna use the console in class. So you're not required to have an AWS free or tier account, but it's very helpful for this class. It's gonna be very helpful, okay? Because you can follow me when I'm doing a demonstration, something that you can follow. It's very important. You guys have followed me on Nearpod. Did you click on Nearpod? Well, I don't get the answers. You can go to Google Classroom, and there, this lecture, this PowerPoint is there. Okay, so you can click on that and follow me. Now, Nearpod has a feature that you can take notes while I am teaching. So you can take notes, and when you finish, you can save those notes, and it will be sent to your email. So you can have the content and the notes next to it for every single lecture. Okay, that's why I decided to use Nearpod, because you can take notes and you have that capability. Okay. Yes.
I have a question. So you have two options here: AWS free tier and AWS Educate. Are there any difference between the two? Because I do have an AWS Educate account.
Okay, this is something different that I don't know much about, because I never suggest my student opening this account. I don't do. I simply don't. What I'm interested in.
Use it for the purposes of the class, AWS free tier.
That's right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. You can open that too, but there's some stuff that are going to be free in the AWS Educate account that you have to pay for. So, actually, a class like this one is about $2,000 for only one day, probably, or 2 days. So, this Educate account has free stuff, but the good stuff are not free. Okay.
It's kind of limited.
Yeah. So we continue. So what is required for this? IT technical knowledge. Don't think about that. Don't worry about this. Okay. My experience and what I know, you don't need an IT technical knowledge for this. You will need to work on this. You will need to study. You will need to understand it, but you don't need technical knowledge. Okay, you don't need it. A business knowledge is a good plus, but not required either. You may not come from a business background. Don't worry about that either. I don't have any business background, but I understand business. Okay. Preferred knowledge, familiarity with the cloud computing concepts. We're gonna get this in class. Okay, we're gonna get it in class. Don't worry about that. Working knowledge of distributed systems, you don't need that, okay? Familiarity with general networking concepts, you may need it, but not required, not required. You will try to understand this. For people who don't understand networking that well, you will have to make extra time and watch some videos that I'm gonna give you, and then you will understand more or less about networking, because AWS has a lot of networking components, a lot, okay? Working knowledge of multi-tier architectures. We're gonna talk about that in class, so don't worry about that for now, okay? So what else? We're gonna define the AWS cloud concepts, explain cloud economics, define pricing models. This is very important for the exam, the pricing models. Describe the AWS cloud value proposition. Now the core services, describe characteristic of deployment and operation, review common use cases. Guys, don't panic if you start seeing terms that you've never seen before, like deployment and all that. Don't worry about that. You're going to be okay. Okay? Explain AWS cloud security. Review the shared responsibility model. That's extremely important. What AWS is responsible for and what the customer is responsible for. They share the responsibility, because AWS don't want to say it's all on me. No. That's a part for me and a part for you. Okay? That's very important. The basic security and compliance, like I said before, AWS takes security very seriously. Very seriously. And compliance, because AWS is a cloud provider, but there are guys above them that are making sure that AWS is compliant. Okay? So the fact that you are compliant with AWS doesn't mean that you are compliant with the guy above AWS. Okay? So you have to make sure that AWS is compliant with this particular thing, and then I'm compliant too. Okay? So the basic AWS cloud architecture principles, and review the cloud billing and support services. Like I said before, there are four support plans, and they're billed differently, and the services are billed differently, either by the hour or either by the second. So we have to see that later. Okay? No questions so far? Do I still have you here? Am I losing you? No?
You're good.
Still here.
Thank you. So module 0 is today. Okay? We're gonna see today module 0 and 1. We're gonna see about 2 modules every day. Okay? Because you only have 4 weeks. That's 36. No, not 36. 12 sessions. And that's not enough. So we have to, to do as much as we can. Okay? You're gonna be fine. Module 1, cloud concepts. Module 2, AWS core services. Module 3, AWS cloud security. Module 4. So this is for the students that were asking about security. There's one module for AWS security. Module 4, cloud architecting. Module 5, cloud billing and support services. Now, module 1, cloud concepts. Section 101. So we're gonna have like 5 sections for module 1. Okay. So we're gonna see what's cloud computing, the 6 advantages of cloud computing, very important for the exam. Something that you will notice throughout the course that I will be telling you all the time, and something that you will notice when you take the exam, is that every single AWS exams is just about keywords. Keywords. The keywords are important. You may have a question that have like 10 sentences, and there's only one word that makes the difference. So we have to be able to read carefully and understand what they're trying to ask you, or what they're asking you. There are 6 advantages of cloud computing. Why people, why employers, why business owners decide to migrate to the cloud, because of these 6 advantages. Okay? So just read my words. I mean, understand what I'm saying. This is extremely important for the exam, because this is the key why people are moving to the cloud. Okay? So what is Amazon Web Services? The AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, otherwise known as CAF. Cloud economics, fundamentals of pricing. What is the pricing based on? The total cost of ownership, very important. The TCO, don't forget that, TCO. There's a lot of acronyms in AWS that you have to remember. Total cost of ownership. This is the tool that business owners use to know how much they're gonna pay if they migrate to the cloud. So see how important this tool is, the total cost of ownership. When you buy a car, okay, do you only pay for the car? How much is it gonna cost you to have that car? Only what you pay to the dealership? Only what the bank loans you? Do you think so?
No.
Do you have to pay for insurance?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have to pay for repairs?
Yes, and maintenance.
Okay. So that if you see this analogy, the total cost of ownership of a car includes the insurance and also the payments. You see? Everything that is related to the car, that's the total cost of ownership. We're going to see that apply to the cloud, to AWS. Number 3 is going to be section 103, AWS Infrastructure. Very important, how one of the advantages of the cloud is to be global in minutes. So how you can be global and how you can have an infrastructure that is global. Okay, that's AWS. AWS is in the entire world. It's not only the United States, it's in the entire world. Okay, and we're gonna see how they separate this, how they can be in the entire world. AWS services and service categories. Module 2, we're gonna have the AWS core services, compute services. What compute has to do with numbers, you know, like a computer, it computes. Okay, all the services that has to do with that. Part 1 is going to be AWS services and service category overview. The part 2 is going to be compute service overview. Part 3 is going to be Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. Don't forget this. This is one of the oldest services of AWS. EC2. Don't forget that. EC2. Why is it EC2? Because it has 2 C's. Compute cloud, right? So it's Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2. Okay, that's why called EC2. This is one of the older services, like I said before. And what is EC2? It's just a server in the cloud. A server. That's it. It's a computer. Okay, so EC2 is a computer. Amazon EC2 cost optimization example, how much you have to pay for EC2s. It's a server. You have to pay for it, and you know how you can save money, how you can make it more optimized, all that. Part 5, AWS security groups. Okay, when you think about AWS security groups, think about a firewall. Okay, when you have a computer, you have a firewall. So a security group, it's a firewall for the EC2, for the server, right? The server is a computer. The security group is the firewall. So you are protecting your server on the cloud. Okay, don't forget that, security groups for servers. Load balancing, have you ever heard about the load balancers? How to balance loads, how to balance the traffic to different servers? So that's the role of load balancers. Okay, we're gonna see the 3 types of load balancers in AWS. AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda, people think that it will replace EC2 in the future, because it's serverless. When you say serverless, it's telling you that you don't need a server. And when you don't need a server, you have less headaches because you don't have to manage a server. It's serverless. Okay? So far, so good? Okay. AWS Elastic Beanstalk, that's a platform as a service. I don't know if you have heard about that before. Platform as a service. We're going to see it in class. Don't worry about that. So this is section 2. Okay, 01. Section 202, introduction to storage services. Of course, you have to store your data in the cloud, right? We have part 1, EBS. EBS is Elastic Block Store. Think about that. Think about a flash drive. That's an EBS. Okay, it's a digital. It's a cloud flash drive. Okay, that's EBS. Amazon Simple Storage Service, that's one of the oldest services, S3. Don't forget that, S3. Simple Storage Service. You may have a question in the exam, like, what is S3? And then they would say, Amazon Simple Storage Service, Amazon Storage Service Simple. You know, like 4 different answers. You have to remember that it's Simple Storage Service. Okay. Amazon Elastic File System. This is a file system that is shared, okay, in the cloud. Amazon Glacier, this is for archiving. After a while, after 30 days, for example, of saving a file in S3, probably people are not using it anymore. So you just archive it in Amazon Glacier. You know, Glacier is cold, right? It's cold. So what do you archive there? Files that are now frequently accessed by people, okay? So we're gonna see the storage classes that S3 has, okay? Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, that's a LAN. You know what a LAN is? A local area network. If you know about networking, it's just what is a LAN? For example, your computer, your network here in your house, right? That's a LAN. So Amazon VPC, Virtual Private Cloud, it's a LAN in the cloud. It's for specific part of your company. Let's say you may have a VPC for the accounting department. You may have a VPC for the HR department, for different departments, for the developer department. So that's to segment your business. You use a VPC. We're gonna see that in class.
Can we say that VPC is like a VLAN?
Yes, it's a virtual LAN. Yes.
Okay.
204, introduction to databases. We're gonna see the different databases that Amazon has. Databases is very important to save data, to make it persistent, very important. Part 1, Amazon Relational Database System, RDS, very important. RDS, don't forget that. Amazon DynamoDB, this is a very powerful database that AWS has. It's just a key value pair database. It's only one table, okay? In a relational database, you have tons of tables that are related to each other or not related to each other. That's why it's called relational database. But what is peculiar about Amazon DynamoDB is that it's no SQL, it's no relational. It's only one table. That's it. It's a single table database, which is crazy at first, but when you understand it, it's super powerful. Many companies are using it, okay? Amazon Redshift, don't forget that. Keyword for this one, keyword. Warehouse. It's a database warehouse. Redshift, don't forget that. Amazon Aurora, that's a proprietary database from Amazon. It's theirs, okay? And it's super powerful, and if it is powerful, it's expensive, okay? It's very expensive. So this is for high-end companies. This is a company that wants to spend a lot of money, who wants to be highly available, but they have to spend a lot of money, okay? Any questions? So section 205, elastic load balancing, we're gonna see that. Amazon CloudWatch, one of the most important services in AWS is CloudWatch, because you can monitor all your services, the health of your services, how they're doing. You have different widgets, different platforms that you can see how many connections you have, network in, network out, if it is healthy, if it is not healthy. This is like probably the heart of all the services. Like it checks everything in your network. It integrates with everything in AWS, almost every service in AWS. CloudWatch, we're gonna see, don't worry. Auto scaling, very important. Auto scaling. If you want to be highly available, you have to have auto scaling. And as the word says, automatic scaling. You can scale, very important. You're gonna have different terms like scale in, scale out, scale up, scale down. We're gonna see that, okay? So that's auto scaling. Module 3, AWS Cloud Security. We have an entire module for that. We're gonna see the AWS Shared Responsibility Model. You have to, it has to be clear once I migrate to the cloud, it has to be clear what I'm responsible for and what that AWS is responsible for. That has to be clear from the beginning. Okay. IAM, AWS Identity and Access Management. That's very important. IAM, that's one of the most important services in AWS as well. I think that they couldn't have chosen a better name for this. IAM. So you have to show who you are. Authentication, right? Authentication and permissions. That's AWS Identity and Access Management. AWS Trusted Adviser. This is a service that gives you recommendations of what you have to do, what you don't have to do, all that. Very important. AWS Cloud Trail, very important for API calls. Whatever happens in your account, whatever happens, if someone deletes a service, if someone adds a service, everything that happens in your account, Cloud Trail records it, everything. This is very good for compliance, okay, and governance. This is one of, I can tell you, I mean, almost all the services are important, but Cloud Trail is extremely important, because if I want to know who stole my information and when it was, Cloud Trail has the answer. Okay, Cloud Trail has the answer. AWS Config, it just register all the configuration changes of the cloud, very important too. And we're gonna see day number 1, best practices when you start working in AWS. First day, the best practices, security and compliance programs, AWS security resources. Okay. And of course, that one is optional, the last one. Okay. Module 4, cloud architecting, introduction to the well-architected framework. This is the cloud, how you architect well, you know, that something is secure, it has all the features that they need, the business owner needs. The well-architected design principles, understanding high availability and reliability. Those are terms that we're going to talk about. Scaling, okay, scaling down, up, in, out. And module 5 is going to be about billing and support. Introduction to the AWS organizations. We're going to see that. AWS Cost Explorer, an overview about the AWS technical support plans and costs. Okay. Any questions so far? No questions? Okay, no questions, we proceed. All right, so you need to create an account with this here. This is not the free account. This is not the account that I told you about yesterday. This is a different account because this is the one where you're gonna see your certifications, where you're gonna schedule your exams, where you're gonna see your score, where you're gonna see your batches, and everything related to your examinations. Okay. Now you can use your personal Amazon account for this. Okay? So you don't need to create a new password, new email, everything. Just you can use the same AWS account. I mean, not AWS, Amazon account that you have, and create this. Okay. It says here, use your existing Amazon.com account or create a new one. Okay. Don't worry about this. I'm not taking the curriculum from here. Okay, we're not using this. We're not using Quick Lab for the labs. We're using Vocarium. By the way, did you guys got the invitation for Vocarium?
Yes.
Good. We're not using this. We're not using this either. We're not using this platform. We're using AWS Vocarium. Of course, when you are in the labs, you're going to have a button that says Start Lab, but not this UI. It's not going to be this presentation. Different one. We're going to have this. You're going to have this. And by the way, for the labs, you don't need an AWS account, they have a sandbox. Okay, they have an AWS account created for you. Your personal account is for you to practice outside of the class, outside of the lab. Okay. Okay, this is what you were supposed to do yesterday. Okay, now you may see that the UI is a little different because it's a little, AWS is constantly updating the UI, the presentation of their platform. Okay, so you're gonna have, I think I'm gonna send you this too, with the services, the free services of AWS. For example, we're gonna use EZ2, but you have 750 hours a month for free. Okay, for 12 months. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. RDS, which is Relational Database System, remember? For databases, we have 750 hours a month, so we don't have to worry about that. For Amazon S3, we have 5 gigabytes, so you can upload as much as you want, up to 5 gigabytes. For Lambda, you have 1 million requests. Okay, so by the way, Lambda is functions. Okay, functions in AWS. But for that, you need to know some coding for that, coding different languages. This is how you create an account. I think this is very similar to the one that you guys saw when you created the account. They give you the different characteristics of the password that they want. It has to be a minimum of 8 or more characters, include the minimum 3 of the following mix of characters types, uppercase, lowercase. You can follow the instructions. Confirm the password, create the AWS account name, click continue. In this case, we have to choose personal because this is for personal use only. I never created a professional one. Probably if you select professional, in the next window, you're gonna have probably something related to professional accounts. I've never created professional. I never needed it, just personal. You cannot create an account if you don't have a credit or debit card. You have to know that. You can't. AWS wants to make sure that you're going to be charged if you go beyond the limits. Okay? They don't want you to use their services that are not free, for free. So, business. Enter your payment information, secure submit. You will not be charged unless your usage exceeds the AWS free tier limits. We're not going to exceed that in class, so there's nothing to worry about. You're going to enter your phone, security check value, call me now, answer the call from AWS. I think that they now have a text feature. You don't have to get a call. You can get a text. They will send you a code, and then you can get it there. It's been a while since I created an AWS account. They're changing all the time. You're going to choose the support plan. For sure, you want to choose basic plan. Okay, that's free. That's the free one. Okay, you see the value of the developer one and the business one. They don't even include the enterprise one because it's a lot of money. You have to talk to them. Now your account is set up. So I think that we should create a budget. Okay. All right, you see my account here? So if you go here to services and you type billing, so I'm going to give you 1 minute to just bring your AWS account up and follow me. If you want to be notified when you go over a specific amount of money, just in case You start practicing at home, and then you go over the limits, and then you're charged. The best thing you can do is create a budget alarm that will tell you when you go over a specific threshold, money threshold. So if you click on billing, and then here it says budgets. See here? In my case.
Can you zoom in on your window?
Oh, yeah.
Is it possible?
Yeah, why not? I'm using a 38-inch monitor. Probably that's why it makes it so small. You see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So, so in my case, I created a budget of $10. You see? I went over this budget many times, but I have something that I can use, which is called credits. See here? I have money here that I can use. Okay. And it doesn't matter if you go over. By the way, I have like $400. What am I doing here? I don't even know. Okay, this is the root account. Yeah. Okay. So you can create another budget here, create budget. And then it's going to be a usage, monitor your cost against, okay, this one, cost budget. So you click on set your budget. You can give it a name. Just AWS Cloud Petitioner class if you want to, give it a name you want. Monthly, recurring budget, fixed. Okay. $10.
Was it cost budget you selected?
Cost budget, yes, cost budget.
Thanks.
$10 budgeted amount. If you want to put 5, you can put 5. Okay. And then configure alerts. Now you can put any percentage here of $10, of $5. You can put 80%. When it's 80%, that will be, I think it's from $5, 80% is 40 cents. I think it's 40 cents. When you have employed 40 cents, then you can, in this case, I will put 100%. Okay, and I just put my email here, whatever email I want for notifications. I'm gonna use my email. Okay. And then confirm budget. You click on confirm budget. Notify the following contacts with actual cost is greater than 100% of $5. So if it goes over $5, it sends me an email and it tells me, hey, your budget has been used completely. So it's time for you to do something. Okay? You can do something or not do anything. It's just your choice. AWS just alerts you of any cost. So this is the summary of your budget. Okay. Then we create, and that's it. So it's right here. AWS Cloud Petitioner class. Budgeted $5. This is the name. If you want to see the details of this budget, you can click here. Alert actual cost exceeds 100%. That's the alert that we created. Okay. And this is going to give you a breakdown of the months that I've used. I wonder why I used $248 in March. I have no idea. AWS would not tell you, hey, they would not be on you telling you, you're spending this. Let's send you an email and that's it. they want to make money, right? They don't want to be telling you, hey, you're spending money. They just send you an alert that you created. That's it. And they silently continue charging you. Okay? So let's say that's how you create a budget. Just in case you go over $5, it will tell you. Okay. I don't have any usage budget, just, for CPU usage or something. I just have cost budgets. I have 2 in this case. And I think I can delete it. In your case, leave it there. I don't need it. So I'm going to delete it. Okay, it's gone. Okay, now when we have the budget, then we're all good. So we don't have to worry about any expenditures and anything. This is for billing alerts. That's something else. That's something that we're going to see later. We just set up a budget. We don't have to worry about that. We can have the preferences. That's something you can play with later. Manage billing alert, create a billing alert. This is a billing alert. Okay, that's another way that you can create, similar to a budget, similar. Well, the budget is fine. This is something that we don't have to do. Not for this class. If you want to do it, you can do it, but I don't require that. This is still AWS Educate. This is a Nearpod, okay? You can go back and go over it again if you want to. Review the terms and conditions. Just to log back in. Educate accounts. Okay, that's all for this module. Okay, so it'll be module 0. It's a general overview of all the services and this course. Okay. So after the break, it's already 10:21. Like I said before, break is going to be 10:25. We're going to see module 1. Okay, that's going to be the first module that talks about AWS. Okay, as such. Do you have any questions before we go ahead and continue after the break? Any questions?
No.
So what do you think so far?
Straightforward.
Straightforward?
Yes.
Anything else? Do you have all the students still connected?
We're still here. It seems simple enough as long as you keep in mind all the keywords and all the specific facts which you had stated.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay.
I feel like if you know the acronyms, they kind of lead you in the right direction.
Good. Okay. Anything else?
I have a quick question. This is Ciara. Is it safe to assume that, so in the beginning of the Module 0 slides, we were talking about the structure and the keywords and different definitions, but then how we were going through the setup of the AWS experience for setting up a new account and setting up a budget, things like that. That's not material that we would be tested on, right?
No.
That's just
Well,
the setup. Okay.
well, you need to know that the account is free for 12 months.
Okay.
But that's not as important as the core services. Okay? That's mostly knowledge about the real basics.
Okay.
But they care more about knowledge of the cloud more than that. more than knowing how to create an account or if it is free or not free. You have to know it's free and what services are free, but that's not as important as the rest of what we're going to see in class.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, students, take a 12 minutes break. And I'll see you back here at 10:35 to start module 1. Okay.
Grandma? Oh yeah, you want to nap, Rosie? I'm coming now. Okay.
Hi, Duneski. Just checking you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you.
Can you see my screen? This is module 1, section 1.
Yes, I can.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, students, is 10:35. So, okay. So we're going to continue with this module 1, section 1. Okay, so in this module, we're gonna see the module 1, section 1, the cloud concepts overview. We're gonna know a little bit more about the cloud. Okay, so okay, so the part 1 of this module is what is cloud computing. Part 2, see the 6 advantages of cloud computing, what is Amazon Web Services, and the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework. Okay, the objectives of the class, we're going to discuss the key concepts related to cloud computing and the advantages of cloud computing. We're going to define the different types of cloud computing, describe the 6 advantages for cloud computing, describe cloud deployment models, and review the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework. Okay. So part 1, what is cloud computing? So cloud computing is very popular nowadays. If you think about it, we're here today because of cloud computing, right? So we don't have to be in an office. We don't have to be in a classroom. We're here today. So what do you think? You think about what could be cloud computing. Just, there's no wrong answer. It's just think about it. If someone were to give me a concept of cloud computing, what would you say? Anyone? Just one answer. Anyone?
Oh, I think that cloud computing is like a server room in the cloud.
Okay. What else?
Cloud computing basically someone else's computer that we use.
Okay. Like a platform of someone else's platform, right?
Yeah.
Similar. Okay. Well, basically, that was the original thought when they created Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services have been in the business for 14 years, since 2006. Jess Bestos and his colleagues, they were sitting, I think they were sitting in the backyard in 2004, and they were thinking about what we can do with our platform. So we have a platform that we created. How can we share that with the public? So they came up with the idea of selling the platform. So we can just rent our platform to other people and they can use it. And that's how cloud computing came into place. And since 2006, they have been leading the way, leading the parade of all the cloud computer providers in the world. So cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of compute power, database storage, applications, and other IT resources through a cloud services platform via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. That is a very accurate definition of cloud computing. So on demand, because if you use it, if you need it, you use it. If you don't need it, you don't use it. It's on demand. Okay? Compute power has servers. We have databases. We have storage, applications, and all kinds of IT resources through a platform that they created in 2004. You know, they wanted to share with people in 2004 using the internet. Okay? You need a network for that with pay-as-you-go pricing. If you don't use it, you don't pay for it. If you use it, you pay for it. Okay, that's cloud computing. Now, the most basic way to define what the cloud is a computer located somewhere else that is accessed via the internet and utilized in some way. That's the cloud. It's a computer somewhere else, okay, that we can access it via the internet and it belongs to someone else. That's the cloud, okay? So web services is also another name for what people call the cloud, okay? So they can be interchangeably used, cloud or web services. Now, the cloud is comprised of server computers located in a large data center in different locations around the world. So what we have in the cloud is a virtual server, but there's a location, a physical location where the server is, right? But you don't have to manage those servers. AWS manages the servers for you. That's the advantage of the cloud. That you don't have to worry about patching or managing or anything, or hiring administrators for the servers, because the cloud, AWS, manages all that. That's very important, okay? Now, when you use a cloud service like Amazon Web Services, you're utilizing computers owned by AWS. So AWS is the cloud provider, right? Now, the computers, they contain technology, features, and services like building blocks that can be used to assemble solutions that help a user meet their business goals and technologies. So it's a computer owned by someone else. That's the cloud. Now, cloud computer enables you to stop thinking about your infrastructure as hardware, and instead of thinking of it, use it as software. You know what I mean? So you don't have to worry about the physical part. You worry about the virtual part. Okay? That's one of the advantages. Don't think about the hardware, think about the software. Okay? When businesses think about the hardware and the software, they have less time to dedicate to the customers, right? So when you think about the software only, the remaining time, you can spend it improving your services for your customers. That's one of the advantages of the cloud. You don't think about anything physical, it's all virtual, okay? Who takes care of the physical part? AWS, okay? You take care of the virtual part. You know, security, compliance, all that. But managing and patching and updating servers and all that, that's AWS. Okay? So before cloud computing, people used to have what? We used to use what? Hardware solutions, okay? Servers in a specific place, okay? With network components, all that. Now, hardware solutions are physical. This means that they require space, right? You have to have a space in your office for a server room. You have to have staff, people that will be, administering those servers. You need physical security. You need to put security in place so that no one accesses those servers, okay? Either physically, in person, or virtually. Because, there are attackers that we try to, compromise your servers. Planning, you have to plan your stuff, and you have capital expenditure. Why? You have to spend money on buying servers, right? You have to spend money. So when you have everything in the cloud, these are stuff that you don't have to worry about, okay? And therefore, you're saving money, okay? When you talk to someone about the cloud, one of the components that what they want to hear is cost, okay? How much does it cost? How much am I going to save, right? That's very important. Now, guess at theoretical maximum peaks, right? How much traffic will I have in a specific month? Do you know that? How can you know how many customers are going to visit your website? How can you know that? Can you know that? Do you think that you can say yes? No, that's unpredictable. So you have to guess how much or how many resources I will use for this specific event. Let's say Thanksgiving is coming, and I have a store that is using the cloud, that is not using the cloud, sorry. how can I know how my servers, if my servers will cope with the traffic? How can I know that? So you have to guess. And when you guess, you may either over provision or under provision. So you don't know. You may buy more gear, more equipment than you need, right? Or you may buy less than you need. So you have to be guessing, okay? So the questions are, is there enough resource capacity for this event, for this wave, high wave of purchases that I'm gonna have in Thanksgiving? Do I have capacity? Do we have sufficient storage? Because when someone places an order, that order is gonna be saved in the database, right? Do I have the capacity to save the orders, to save the users when they sign up? How many users am I gonna have? I don't know, I have no idea. So I have to be guessing, okay? So you have to go through the time, effort, and cost required to change all this, right? Now, software is flexible, right? Software is flexible. Accessing and using your infrastructure as software offers a number of benefits, flexibility in particular. If you need change, your software can change much more quickly, easily, and cost effectively than your hardware, right? Can you dispose of 20 servers just like that? But with software, you can make changes quickly and easily than your hardware, okay? Now, the three models of cloud computing, very important. Infrastructure as a code, platform as a code, as a service, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, okay? So platform as a service is, for example, I have my platform and you can use it to create something. Infrastructure as a code, I have my server, you can use it, right? The platform is the entire thing. And software as a service, you can use my software. For example, what is an example of software as a service? Office 365, Dropbox, right? Slack. So you can use that. You don't need anything, any patching or anything. It's just something that is already provided to you. You don't have to manage Office 365. It's already managed for you. So with IaaS, or infrastructure as a service, you manage the server, which can be physical or virtual, as well as the operating system, Windows or Linux. In general, the data center provider has no access to your server, okay? That's for infrastructure as a code. So the basic building blocks for the cloud IT include networking features, compute, and data storage space. With platform as a service, someone else manages your underlying hardware and operating systems. This enables you to run applications without managing underlying infrastructure. For example, patching, updates, maintenance, all that. That's platform as a service. And with software as a service, you manage the files while the service provider takes care of all the data centers, servers. When you have Office 365, you create the folders, you create the files, all that, right? But what is behind the scenes, you don't have to do anything about that. It's all by Microsoft with Office 365. So this will be in your exam, the three models of cloud computing. That is not only for AWS, this is for the cloud. Any cloud provider has this, okay? But we're studying AWS. So the three cloud deployment models. So we have all in the cloud, hybrid, and private cloud on premises. Private cloud on premises. All in the cloud. What was the first company that went all in the cloud? Do you have an idea? I believe that all of you use that service. Probably most of you use that service of that company. What do you think?
That's Google, right?
Google.
No, Google has their own cloud. I'm talking about the first company that went all in the cloud with AWS.
Oh. Amazon.com.
Well, yes, it's the same company, same owner. Of course, they were the first one, but outside AWS network.
Oh, okay.
Good point.
And Facebook.
No, I'll tell you, Netflix. So Netflix is entirely in the cloud, AWS cloud. So whenever you see Netflix, you're watching the cloud. You're watching AWS. That's amazing. Now my question for you is, how many times have you seen Netflix down?
Never.
And if you see it, it's for seconds, right?
Uh-huh.
That's how you can have an idea of how highly scalable and stable AWS is. Other companies that are in the cloud is Airbnb, Comcast. I don't have the list in my mind right now, but there's so many big and well-known companies in the world that are using AWS. Netflix is a monster. Netflix is a monster. It's a multi-million company. Comcast is a great company too, and so is Airbnb. So those are companies that are in the cloud. But the first one that went all in was Netflix. So Netflix thought AWS is extremely stable and secure. That's why I'm gonna go all in. Okay.
I have a question. This is Ciara. The Airbnb and Comcast examples, those were also all in examples as well?
I'm not sure, you know, companies are constantly changing. I'm not sure about that now, but they were not. I'm not sure about that now. I know that Netflix for a fact, okay? But many companies decide to go hybrid because they don't want to lose control. When everything is on the cloud, on AWS cloud, AWS has the control of everything, of all the platform, okay? I have control of my data and everything, but AWS is the one that has the security portion control. All the security. It's my data, it's my company. Why would I give it to someone else and just, you know, let them use my data with their security when I have my own control and I can have my security? Okay, that's what happens. So what is all in? It's a cloud-based application that is fully deployed in the cloud, and all the parts of the application run in the cloud. They have been either created in the cloud or have been migrated from one existing infrastructure. So you can create the whole thing from zero in the cloud or have it migrated from your infrastructure in your business. Okay. They can be low level, high level, depending on your, you know, your needs. And all of this provide an abstraction from the management, architecting, scaling requirement of the core infrastructure because you are completely in the cloud. Now, hybrid deployment is a way to connect infrastructure and applications between cloud-based resources and existing resources that are not located in the cloud. So you make a connection between the on-premises infrastructure and the cloud infrastructure. So in other ways, 1%, it could be more than 50% or less than 50% or 50% is in the cloud, and the rest of the infrastructure is on premises. That's a hybrid. Okay. And then we have the private cloud, which is it's a kind of deployment that lacks many of the benefits of the cloud computing. It does provide a dedicated resources, and it's popular for organizations who need to meet their certain compliance standards. But in most cases, this deployment model is the same as legacy IT infrastructure, while using application management and virtualization to increase resource utilization. Okay, so it's all in with me, but someone else is doing, you know, the patching, the managing, all that. You don't have the advantage of being in the cloud completely. or being in the cloud. You have the cloud in your headquarters, in your company, on premises, and someone else will do the managing and patching. That is not recommended because you don't get all the benefits of the real cloud, that public cloud. This is a private cloud. Okay. So now, only cloud versus on-premises. So you have here a graphic that shows only the cloud and on-premises. So we have the compute capacity here, and we have, in this case, for example, only the cloud. So we have here global reach on demand. So you have here the forecast demand that is going to go up. You see go up, right? So the actual demand is the one in blue, and the on-demand capacity is the one in red, in orange. Okay, so this is going to be your forecast for the entire, let's say the entire year is going to go up, 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 up. So the actual demand is coming here, goes up, and then it goes down. You see how the on-demand capacity, if you're in the cloud, it goes up with your demand or goes down with your demand. Okay, but you don't have to do that manually. That's the good thing. You use something called auto scaling, automatic scaling. Okay, that will automatically scale based on your demand. Okay, goes up, it creates more servers for you. Goes down, it removes servers for you. Now, every server has the same information. If you lose one, you haven't lost anything, right? Because all the servers, they have the same information. It just reproduces servers when you need more capacity, or removes servers when you need less capacity. You understand what I'm saying? So it goes with the demand. That's pretty good. That's all in the cloud. Now we are in the promise, in the on-premises. This is what you bought. Okay, this is what you bought. You bought a lot of servers, a lot of equipment, a lot of things. But look at your demand. It's very low, right? So what's happening here? You are over provisioned. It's a waste of money, right? It's a waste of money. Now here, you're under provision because your demand increases. And then you have less servers and less capacity. You cannot cope with the capacity. That's why, and therefore, you will lose customers. And if you lose customers, you lose money. And that's very important. Okay? With AWS, we don't have to think about that because it goes up based on the demand or goes down based on the demand. Right?
Question about the auto scalability. Do you have to set parameters, specifically AWS? Do you set parameters for it to know when to scale, or does it do it? Can you also employ like machine learning so it does it automatically based on behaviors?
No, you do it based on CPU usage. So CloudWatch, remember we talked about CloudWatch? CloudWatch?
Yeah.
CloudWatch is the one that has metrics about the CPU usage of the server. So CloudWatch has something called alerts, right? It has alerts. You can say if the CPU usage is 80% or more for 5 minutes straight, 5 minutes, give him one more server. Or give me 2 more servers. And then when people are using the servers and a lot of traffic, it says, wow, CPU is 81%. Let me create 2 servers for you. It's a replica of the server that you had before. Exactly the same. So when you have 2 more servers, then the traffic stabilizes, and then we continue coping with the traffic. Okay? Now you're the one that decides how many servers you want after that increase, right? But once you set that up, you don't have to worry about anything else. It will increase it by itself.
I have another question, teacher, about automatic scaling. It works no matter the operating system that you are running?
Scaling works with any instance that you run.
Yeah, for example, if you have a web page in IIS or Linux and you have a lot of domain and you set up automatic scaling, it will without you do anything else.
You mean create services without doing anything else?
Exactly. After you set up auto scaling, and
Yeah.
for example, right now you have 100 domains, and tomorrow you have 115. It would roll up without anything else.
Yeah. When you create auto scaling, you create the minimum capacity, the maximum capacity, and the desired capacity. You create all that. Okay. That's called an auto scaling policy. You create a policy, and you base that on CPU usage or connections. Okay. How many people are connected? How much percentage they're using? So based on that, you can increase or decrease. You don't have to do anything else. It's automatic.
No matter the operating system that you are running in the instance.
That's right. But so far, it's Linux or Windows.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, those are the two main operating systems that are working right now, which is, I think, is basically it. You don't have to worry about anything else. It would do it by itself.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm getting a lot of Slack messages. Is someone slacking me? Okay, we continue. So, so we have this, and then all in cloud versus on premises. All in cloud, there's no upfront investments. You can, the more money you give. Okay, when you buy a car, do you need to pay down payment?
Yes, teacher,
Not
sorry,
not necessarily.
Sometimes you have a question in the sub chat.
But you don't have to pay. You're not required to give a down payment, right? For a car, for a house, I think it is 20%, right? But for a car, you're not required. But the more, supposedly, the more down payment you give, the lower your payments are gonna be, right? Supposedly, right? Same in the cloud. In the cloud, you can start with 0 upfront fees, 0, but you're not gonna get the benefits of discounts, right? So some people, there's partial upfront, full upfront, or no upfront. 3 ways to start in the cloud, okay? There's no upfront investments. We're gonna see that, don't worry. There's low ongoing costs. You have no idea how ridiculously cheap AWS is. We're talking about cents, 0.0001 cent. It's super, super cheap because AWS is smart people. They thought, if we have more customers and we charge less, we're gonna have a more steady business. They're not greedy, okay? So they charge a low fees, but they have millions and millions of customers. So if we charge $1 to one customer and you have millions of customers, you're making millions, right? You're making millions just right off the bat, right? They focus on innovation. So when you are in the cloud, like I said before, you don't have to worry about any hardware costs. You can worry about innovation only. How I can be better to my customers and not worry about hardware. That's not important for me. My services are gonna be faster and agile. Speed and agility, super fast. Is Netflix fast? So when you think about the cloud, think about Netflix, and you have the answer. Is it fast? Super fast. Okay? Can people in China watch Netflix? Can they watch Netflix in China? It's global, right? It's global. It has a global reach on demand. Now, on premises, you have large initial purchase. You have to purchase equipment. You have to purchase servers. You have to purchase software. You have to purchase maintenance, a lot of things, right? So it has an investment at first. Okay.
I have a question. It's Ciara again. Why it sounds like with the all-in cloud and the hybrid and the on-premises, why does Amazon or AWS, why do they even support the third model? Because it seems like it's not.
No, it's not that they support it. It's just the deployments in the cloud. That is not AWS. It's just they have a private cloud. You understand what I mean? AWS is now the only cloud provider. You can have your private cloud, your infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
That's the third model.
So can I say something about that?
Yes, go ahead.
So private clouds or on-premise are usually used for places that need a lot of very, very high secure environments, like banks, for example, might be one, or even government installations. And even some of them are going into a hybrid model. So there is use for private cloud on premises, mostly because of the sensitivity of the data and the services that are being provided. But I think as people are more trustworthy of the cloud, it's going to start moving a lot of businesses toward it.
Okay. Okay, can you hold for a moment? I have some people that were thrown out of the, one moment, they were thrown out of the class, and now they don't have a way to access the class. Just give me one moment, please. Okay, when there's a break, please don't disconnect. Okay, that's gonna throw you out. Even though I already set it up for you to be able to connect without my permission. So tomorrow you can just log in and that's it. So we continue. So so who was the one that asked, Ciara or Lucia?
Yeah.
Oh, Ciara, do you have your answer, your question answered?
Yes.
All right, good. Thank you for your, who was the person that spoke?
Maria.
Maria, thank you for your intervention. Yeah.
No problem.
Juliaski,
Yes.
quick one, just as a pure curiosity, when we're talking about costs of those services for a company such as Netflix, what is the order of magnitude we're talking about here, in terms of monthly cost for Netflix on their...
The support plan, the capacity of the servers. They have to pay for that. That's not free. Maintenance.
No, I know.
Patches, platform, all that. Go ahead.
So, maybe I can explain myself correctly. My question was, what is the cost to Netflix of their total in-cloud, solution with Amazon? Meaning, what Netflix needs to pay Amazon for that? Is it, $20 million a month?
I don't know what the cost is, but they have a plan. And I believe they have the enterprise plan that has a cost, right? Now, I think that the cost is like 10% or 3% of the usage of $15,000 every month. But remember, this is all pay as you go model, right? It's pay as you go.
Yeah,
if you don't use it, you don't pay. If you use it, you pay, depending on the capacity that Netflix needs. We cannot say for certain how much they're paying, because I don't know how many servers Netflix has. We have to Google that, right? But everything is pays as you go, on demand, right? The more they use, the more they save. When we get to pricing, we're gonna see that the more you reserve, because when we get to EC2, we're gonna see the ways that you pay for EC2. The more you reserve, you're gonna reserve for 1 year or 3 years. It's a contract, 1 year or 3 years. The more you reserve, the more money you save, right? And it's a contract. You pay, let's say, a specific amount a month, but then the usage is something else. So how much you use, right? I believe that Netflix has thousands of servers, because Netflix is a huge company and everybody has Netflix. I wouldn't say everybody, but almost everybody has Netflix. Okay. For the premises, you have to pay for system administration, fixed capacity. It's fixed, it's not flexible. In the cloud, it goes up with the demand, goes down with the demand. In your on-premises, you have 10 services, that's what you have, that's it. Doesn't matter how much traffic you have. More traffic, less traffic, you have 10 servers, that's it. If you need more, you have to buy more. But what if you buy 12, but you only need 11? You buy one for nothing. You're wasting money. That's the disadvantages of the premises. Loan procurement of cycle and setup. It's a long process and limited geographic regions, right? You're only in Miami, in Little Havana, and that's it. Or probably you are in Little Havana and you have one office in Fort Lauderdale and one office in Boca Raton. That's it. It's limited. It's limited geographic regions. With AWS, it has tons of regions, like 24 regions in the entire world with global services that work with the entire world. We're going to see that when we get to CloudFront, which is a global service. It's a content delivery network, okay? So these are the disadvantages of on-premises and the advantages of all in the cloud. Okay, why do they mention all in the cloud and not hybrid? Because we're talking about all the benefits of the cloud. When you are hybrid, you don't have all the benefits, okay? Remember, you are 50%, 50-50, or 80-20, or 70-30. But that 30% that you have on premises, you're missing out the advantages of being all in the cloud, right? What can you do in the cloud? You can use a cloud computing platform for application hosting. Hosting is expensive, right? You know, hosting is expensive. Okay, with AWS is super cheap, right? So you can host a website in AWS. You can host a static website. You can host servers. You can host a lot of things in AWS. You can have backup and storage. Okay, you can have snapshots of your servers. You can have snapshots of your databases and save your databases or servers at a particular point in time, and you don't lose any information. Okay, so you have backup and storage in AWS. Okay.
Hosting. I have a question. When you say hosting is cheap, that's in comparison to other hosting providers, or if the company themselves has to create their own?
I haven't compared the hosting with other company because I've never needed hosting with AWS. When I need something, I always look for prices everywhere. But I know it's cheap. It's cheap compared to, for example, HostGator or GoDaddy. It's cheaper than that. Okay? Because when you get to the pricing models of AWS, you're gonna see that the more they grow, the less you pay. The more you reserve, the more you use, the more they grow, AWS grows, the less you pay. So it's cheaper. As they have more and more customers, it becomes cheaper and cheaper. AWS has decreased their price 67 times since 2006. Wow. 67 times. And the more people they have, they start having as customers, the more they will continue decreasing the prices. We saw it. Lambda, you can use Lambda for 1 million requests for free. Lambda is a serverless compute service. We're gonna get to Lambda, but it's 1 million requests. If you have a small business, you don't have 1 million requests a month. So it's free. And after that, it's 20 cents for every million thereafter. That's 20 cents. What is 20 cents for a company? It's super cheap. It's ridiculously cheap, super cheap. Content delivery, websites, you can host a website in AWS, enterprise IT, databases. When we get to RDS, Relational Database System, we're gonna have that it supports 6 different database engines: MySQL, SQL, Aurora, Oracle, Postgres, and MariaDB. Maria There's a database called MariaDB.
Wow, I'm amazed.
Yes. And it supports 6 different database engines that you can put inside. You can host those databases in RDS. Okay, so you don't have to worry about RDS patching, all that. Good. So we continue. So on-premises and AWS comparison. There is a single thing, a single service in AWS for every single service in on-premise. So we have Firewall. Remember what I said before? Security groups, right? So we have the servers here, and it has a firewall in your computer that protects your computer from attacks, right? So we have a security group that protects your server, your virtual server, your EC2 from attacks, attackers. So we have an ACL in on-premises, is access control list, and then we have a network access control list, which works at the subnet level. So security group is for your EC2, your server, and network access control list is for your subnet, right? Before it gets to your server, it has to go through your network, right? And then in the network, you have the network access control list that denies or allows traffic to your EC2s, right? To your network, right? We have administrators, right? In your on-premises, but you have IAM. Remember IAM, Identity and Access Management? You have that in AWS. You have a router in your on-premises, even in your house, you have a router, right? In AWS, you have an elastic load balancer. We're gonna see elastic load balancers. That's a router. It's like a traffic cop that, controls the traffic, how it goes to different servers, right? Guys, I have a question for you. Are you taking notes? Very important. So we have network pipeline switch. We have an Amazon VPC, virtual private network. We're gonna see that. So you have the on-premises servers, and what do we have in the cloud? EC2, right? An EC2 instance is like, it's a building block of the EC2. When you create EC2, what you're actually creating is an EC2 instance. That's what you create, right? It's like a replica, like a child of that service. You're creating an instance. Okay? So basically, you're creating a server, but you call it an instance. That's it. Okay. So we have DNS, direct access storage, attached storage, and then we have Elastic Block Store. We saw it before. We have a SAN, a storage attached network, and then we have a elastic file system, which is a network file system. We have an Amazon S3 and Amazon RDS. Okay. Don't worry, we're gonna see these services each, one by one in class. Okay. So important cloud terminology. Guys, do you mind if we go over 12 one day or 2 days? Sometimes we may go over 12. Okay, because there's a lot of content.
That's fine.
There's a lot of content, and I don't really care. Because some people say I'm not getting paid, I'm not working beyond 12. I don't care. Okay, I'm here to help you.
I have a class at 1 though.
Yeah, I do, but maybe I'm going to go over 2 minutes or 15 minutes. That's not a problem. And it's a good thing that the people that are taking the afternoon class, they're taking this one too, because the class in the afternoon assumes that you know all this. Okay. High availability, highly available, accessible when you need it. Very important. Do I need more servers? Do I need more capacity? It's right there in the cloud. Auto scaling, I get it. I don't need it. I don't have it. Okay, but it's accessible. And let me tell you, it's accessible in a matter of minutes. Sometimes in a matter of seconds, right? Fault tolerance. One of the key points of building an architecture and infrastructure in AWS, it has to be fault tolerant. It has to be able to resist and withstand a certain amount of failure and still remain functional. Okay? How do I make as infrastructure tolerant? If I lose one server, if one server is unhealthy, that's what they call it, healthy or unhealthy, what happens? It creates one for me, right? So it fails, but still is running because I created another one. Now, when they created Amazon, they created Amazon based on a particular thought. Everything fails. They just saw that. Okay, they created everything with failure in mind. Everything fails, so we have to prepare for failure. So we have to construct for failure. Okay, that's very important. Scalability, ability to grow in size, capacity, and or scope when required. Okay, size is a scale up or a scale down. When I say scale up, more capacity. Okay, my CPU has, let's say, 8 gigabytes of RAM. I need 10, 12, and then it grows in power. That's scale up, right? Don't forget, scale up is power, strength. Scale down is less power, less strength. Scale out, very important, scale out, you increase the number of servers. You increase the number of servers. You need more servers, you scale out. Scaling, you reduce the number of servers, okay? Don't forget that. Scale up, more power. Scale down, less power. When we create EC2s, we're gonna see the class, the type of EC2 instance that we're creating, if it is a T2 micro or a T2 macro or an X large, you know, depending on, it's like if I'm buying a computer, my computer has 32 gigabytes of RAM, but maybe I need 64 RAM, or I need probably 8 gigabyte RAM. That's a scale up, right? More power. Scaling, I don't need one computer. Scale out, I don't need one computer. I need 2 computers, right? Because I have a lot of traffic and I need to be able to cope with that demand, right? That's a scale out. Scaling, I don't need 2 servers. I need only 1. So I reduce the amount of servers. Okay, don't forget, up power, down less power, out more servers, in less servers. That's scalability. Elasticity, okay? Available to grow when required and to reduce in size when resources are no longer needed, okay? So this is, scalability has to be with the capacity and elasticity has to be with the size, okay? How many do I need? Okay. Summary. Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources online with pay-as-you-go pricing. That's what we saw before. 3 models of cloud computing: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. All in cloud, hybrid, and private cloud are the 3 cloud deployment models. Cloud services are available to replace traditional on-premises computing activities. They're there to replace them. So it's up to the business owners to go in the cloud or not go in the cloud. Now, part 2, 6 benefits of cloud computing. Before we continue, any questions before we continue?
I have 2 quick questions when it comes to security.
Go ahead.
The network access control list, that's just basically whitelisting what IPs are allowed to access your web services, right?
Correct.
And then the security groups, how does it work similar to firewalls? The firewalls are rule-based, but security groups are just like just creating groups of what users are allowed, what groups are allowed to access specific services.
It's IP addresses.
Okay.
What IP addresses you want to let access the EC2 instances, or if I want to, for example, have a load balancer and I want all the traffic to come to a single point of entry, which is the load balancer, then I set up my security groups in the EC2 servers to let traffic only coming from the load balancer. No one else can access my security groups.
So then you group those IPs based off what services they're allowed to use, like webs, like websites, applications, things like that?
That's right. That's right. So in security groups, you can open ports. For example, you want SSH your EC2 instances, you open port 22. If you want to access your EC2 instance through the browser, you can open port 80, right? Or you can leave by default, all the ports are closed. So you have no access to your EC2 instances. I think the only one that comes with it is port 22. So you can access your, we're gonna see that when we get to that point. Don't worry about that. The
Okay,
6
thanks.
benefits of the cloud computing. The first one, number 1, this is the first advantage to trade capital expenses for variable expenses. Instead of having to invest heavily in data centers and servers before you know how you're gonna use them, what happens, you can pay only for what you use as to compute services and pay for how much you use, okay? So all those fixed expenses that you have on-premises, you don't have to have them anymore when you are in the cloud, okay? Variable expenses. If I need more servers, demand is high, I pay more. If I need less servers, demand is low, I pay less. So that's, you change that fixed amount for variable amounts. That's what it means. I have the explanation here. CapEx, which is capital expense, funds used by a company to acquire, upgrade, and maintain physical, this is key, physical assets such as property, industrial buildings, and equipment. Now, variable expenses, a variable expense is an expense that is easily altered or avoided by the person bearing the cost. So, is this not true with the cloud? Okay, it's easily altered. I don't use the capacity that I don't need, so I'm altering the expenses. I pay less, right? So that's advantage number 1. That's gonna be your exam. Trade capital expense or capex, I don't know how to pronounce it, for variable expenses. Okay, that's gonna be in your exam. Number 2, benefit from massive economies of scale. What does it mean? It means that you can benefit from massive economies of scale by using the cloud computing. You can achieve a lower variable cost than you can get on your own, right? The more people use it, the more or the less you're gonna pay. You know, and the more you use it, the less you're gonna pay. So that's what it means. Economies of scale. Hardware solutions are physical, like we said before. Space, staff, physical security, significant cost to procure or house these resources, no purchasing power. Cloud compute providers leverage hundreds of thousands of customers to achieve economies of scale. It's like I said before, the more AWS grows, the less we as customers are gonna pay, okay? With the usage of hundreds of thousands of customers are aggregated in the cloud, providers such as Amazon Web Services can achieve higher economies of scale, which translates in lower pay as you go prices, okay? That's economies of scale, massive economies of scale. Advantage number 3, capacity planning. You don't have to guess anymore, okay? Guessing capacity. How many servers do I need? How much capacity in my servers do I need? No more guessing on my capacities, okay? So if I need a specific infrastructure, I can set it up beforehand based on the on-demand services that I need, and then it goes ahead and adapts and adjusts to my settings, okay? I don't have to guess anymore. And this is a headache that I will not have for the rest of my life if I continue using AWS service. So that's a huge advantage, huge. So what is guessing about capacity? What are the potential maximum peaks in usage? Do I know? I have no idea, right? I may know that my business every single Christmas has a lot of sales, but I don't know how much I'm going to have this coming Christmas. I have no idea. Things change. You know, people may have or may not have money to buy from me. I may have selling something recently that people don't like. I don't know. It's capacity that I have to guess, right? Is there enough resources capacity at peak? So am I ready for that peak if there's a lot of traffic in my website, for example? I'm not sure. Is their amount of storage sufficient? Is the amount of storage sufficient? Do I have enough capacity in my database, either RDS or DynamoDB or Aurora or MariaDB, Oracle, MySQL, SQL, whatever database engine or service I'm using? Do I have the storage capacity for that? Do I have it? Okay, those are questions that business owners migrating to the cloud or people that are right now on premises should answer themselves. And the answer is very uncertain, very. They may say, we always have a lot of sales, but 100% sure that this year is gonna be the same. We're not sure about that. Increase speed and agility. In the cloud computing environment, new IT resources are only a click away, which means you reduce the time it takes to make those resources available to your developers from weeks to just minutes. So it takes weeks sometimes for these resources to be available. With the cloud, it's just a matter of minutes. So this results in a very dramatic increase in agility for your organization, since the cost and time it takes to experiment and develop is significantly lower. So this is a very huge advantage that the cloud has. So it has a rapid, resources that are available rapidly, and you provision resources in minutes, now weeks. Innovation is increased. That's very important. You can, dedicate your time to your customers. You have a quick, low-cost experimentation, leverage prefabricated functionality without requiring in-house expertise. Example, data warehousing, analytics. Remember the service that I said, data warehouse? Do you remember? Redshift, don't forget that. Increase experimentation, explore new avenues of business with minimal risk and expense, and test with different configurations. All of these are, advantages of being in the cloud, of being real speedy and agile. Spend strategically. Stop spending money on running and maintaining data centers. What are we spending money on? What are we spending money on? Two things: whatever we use in the cloud, and to make our users' experience much better. That's the only money that we have to spend. We don't have to spend on running and maintaining any data center. Okay, that's AWS's. By the way, one of the main data centers is in Virginia. Virginia region is probably the most important region of all regions in AWS. And usually AWS has between 50 and 80,000 servers in each availability zone. So they have availability zones, and we're not talking about that when we talk about the global infrastructure, but they have like 50,000 to 80,000 servers in a physical location. That's a lot of servers. Do I have to worry about that? I don't have to. That's not my responsibility. That's AWS's. Okay, so I don't have to spend money on that. That's for AWS to do. We focus on the customers. We focus on projects that differentiate the business. We focus only on the business. No infrastructure, no patching, no managing, no maintaining. This is AWS's. We just focus on customers. Okay, projects. Delegate the racking, stacking, and powering of servers to the cloud provider. They worry about that, about everything that has to do with the physical servers, security of the physical servers, that's their responsibility. I have my responsibility to secure my data. AWS don't mess up with my data. That doesn't mess up with my data. They don't care about my data. They will never access your data. That's your data, right? Now I have to be able to put in place some security groups and some firewalls to protect my data. That's my responsibility, okay? Advantage number 6, ease of deployment. Global in minutes. Is it not? great that we can go global minutes on a very low price. So we can deploy. Yeah,
I'm
go
sorry, Ciara, can you expand on that a bit when you say you could go global in minutes as compared to what? Because I'm just, again, I don't have a technical background, but I'm just looking at it in comparison to somebody that even if they're based here in the US, but they have a digital presence or they have some type of web setup, like theoretically anybody around the world could access what they have already set up online if they're not on AWS, no?
Yes, but what if you have a server that is located in the United States and someone from China tries to access that? Do you think it's going to be as fast as if you would have a server in China?
No.
Okay, that's the advantage. Okay, so we have a lot of availability zones here and a lot of regions. You see the regions here? Those are regions in the entire world.
Okay.
Now they use a service called CloudFront for, I create a server here, right? I create a server here. Let's say that you have an on-premise office, right? An on-premise infrastructure in Miami, right? So you're gonna have a server here, right? Right? It's gonna be a physical server here, right? And I have a server here.
Yeah.
You can have a server here because you are located here, right?
Yeah.
You're based now, if I create a server in the cloud, I create a server in Miami, and I can create a server in China. And we're gonna see that. We just have to choose the region where we are launching our server, and then all the people that live near here, they're gonna be able to access this server at a very fast speed because they're here, right? And the server is here. But if imagine a person has to come from all the way from China and access a server that is here.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some time, right? And it's called latency. It's gonna have a high latency, right? Now, if I create servers here, it's gonna have a low latency and customers will be able to access these services. And I have one service called Route 53, which is a DNS service that will reroute all the requests that people are doing from here. It will reroute it to this server here, for example, and not to this server. If I only have a server here and someone from Australia try to access this server, this is the only server that I have, so it's gonna be rerouted here, right? It's gonna be routed to this server. It's gonna take a long time because it's a long distance between one location to the other, right? It has a high latency, but instead of that, these customers, it's the same server. Remember what I said, it's an exact replica of this server. I have one in this region, right here in this region, so the customer will be rerouted to this using a routing policy, instead of being routed to my headquarters, right? That's how you create global in minutes, right? And in seconds. It's just a matter of latency, right? I can have my website here, but my user experience, what about that? It's gonna be very, very slow, or may not be slow, but for sure that if the server is here, it's gonna be much faster than if it is here.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So global in minutes, you can deploy your application in multiple regions around the world with just a few clicks. This means that you can provide a lower latency and better experience to your customers simply at a minimal cost. Okay, I see that some students are chatting here. If you can ask me the question, because I get so focused and concentrated on my class that I'm not even looking at the chat feature. Okay, so if someone reads the chat for me, and I'm sorry about that, I get very excited about my classes, and sometimes I forget that. If you can, feel free to interrupt me and ask me a question, okay? Or if someone else sees that chat, please let me know. And if it is an important question that has to do with this right now, I will stop and clarify that, okay? So does someone have a question? I see a lot of chat here, a lot of chat messages. Does anyone have a question?
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
Okay. Not a problem.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
So in business, right? When you go for a loan or to expand businesses, now it's with the cloud services. It's great. It's a great service. However, if you go for a bank loan, it's kind of difficult to get those for expansion if your expenses related to networking, right, and physical hardware is no longer needed. It's more of a product on the cloud.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
So have you seen anything related to the kind of justifications that people are using to go from, instead of using capital expenses to get a loan, to go and get a loan for expansion related to cloud services?
I don't understand your question. You mean, are you asking?
So you're in business, right? And you're providing services, and you have a physical infrastructure. Okay, so let's say that you have met your capacity and you need to increase your capacity. In other words, you have to buy more servers and you have to increase your physical makeup. But you're thinking, instead of buying all the servers, why we don't go and use cloud services, right? Which has all these benefits. But if you go to a bank and you say, I want a loan to go and get cloud services so I can expand my business, most likely the bank is not going to give you the loan based on that alone. So have you seen any justification? And maybe that's, it's more related to a business model related to capital versus variable expense, which is the first advantage, right? So I go to the banker and I say, you know what, I need to expand my business. And what it used to be, I need the money to go and buy 10 servers, physical servers, so I can put it on my warehouse. I need the money to expand, but it's going to be on the cloud. And usually banks want physical, assets. So if you don't pay your loan, they go and take your servers from you.
Okay. But first of all, you have to know your business. You have to sit with an architect and know how much you need.
And maybe that's a question for the next class, right?
Probably. But when you are in the cloud, you don't need physical servers, right? And you don't need upfront fees either. Because you can start from zero money in the cloud. Remember, you pay as you go, right? You pay as you go. Because the capacity is not, the demand is not a problem with the cloud. The more you use, the more the more you use, the less you pay. When I say that, what I mean is the more services you buy, the cheaper it's gonna be. It's like when you buy a bundle of things, it's gonna be cheaper if you buy one by one, okay? Now, you don't need a loan to start in the cloud. First, you don't need a physical equipment. You need the service in the cloud. It's just in the cloud. You're gonna see how we create a server in the cloud. You don't need any money. In fact, we don't need any money when we do it because we are working in a free account. So you can start your business with a free account. using limited resources because you're starting your business. You don't need a loan. When you ask a bank for a loan, you have to justify how you're going to pay that loan back, right? And imagine it's the cloud. You never have an idea how much you're going to spend, even though it's set up, right? It's covered, but it all depends on your business needs, right? But I've never heard anyone ask you for a loan to start in the cloud because you can start from zero with zero money, right? I don't know if that's what you're heading with your question, but you don't need a loan to start your business in the cloud. Like we said before, no upfront fees is required. I mean, no fees. Exactly, no upfront fees is required.
So that is the real benefit of this, the ability to scale up without having to have upfront fees or any expenses, capital expenses in this case, that you need to put up front to be able to expand a business, an enterprise.
That's right. You're gonna have variable expenses because you have to pay for a monthly fee, right? Monthly fee.
But it's based on usage, and the assumption model. Correct. Should have in there. Never mind. I don't want to go that route. Never mind. Sorry.
Correct. Are you Maria, right? Are you Maria, right?
Yeah, this is Maria. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it's based on your usage. Okay. Mostly.
I think there was someone else was going to say something. I'm sorry. Interrupted.
So someone else want to say something? We have to still have.
That's okay. I wanted to get deeper into that, but that's okay. No, we can take it offline. That's okay.
Okay. I know there are people that are business people here in this class, and believe me, I'm not a business person. I know about business a little bit, but I'm more of a cloud guy. You know, it's good to AWS. By the way, AWS recommends understanding business models to be able to use the cloud, because when you explain to people, to a company, what the cloud is, you have to explain the business part too, right? Because they want to save money. They want to be as comfortable as possible with the cloud. So both security and cost are important when you talk to someone about the cloud. So
I'm sorry, who was the person that made the comment?
That's Jose. Juan, okay. Juan Flores. So we have the 6 advantages, again, like recapping. Trade capital expense for variable expenses, benefit from massive economies of scale, eliminate guessing on your capacity needs, increase speed and agility, stop spending money to run and maintain data centers, and go global in minutes. I don't see a reason why someone shouldn't migrate to the cloud. I don't see a reason. We're going to see use cases of how much money companies saved. We're talking about $100,000 that they saved for migrating to the cloud. I don't see a way, but people have a security problem. They think about security, how secure it is, because even the most secure companies, they have breaches. You know, people can breach their security and steal information from the customers. Okay. And some people there's some people that are skeptical and they don't want to migrate to the cloud. But I don't see a reason. When you get to know AWS well, I mean, there's no doubt. That's why Netflix didn't think it over and went all in. Okay? And Netflix is secure. Have you heard about any breach in Netflix information? Someone that has stolen information from Netflix? Have you heard that? You heard it from Facebook, right? Facebook and different companies?
Yeah.
But not Netflix. I haven't heard anything about Netflix. Okay? AWS is super secure. So what is Amazon Web Services? What are web services? A web service is any piece of software that makes itself available over the internet and uses a standardized format, XML or JSON, for the request and the response of an API interaction What is XML? It's a scripting language. Okay, scripting language is extensible markup language. Don't forget that, extensible markup language. But that's not used so often as it was before. People use JSON more, and JSON is just a JavaScript object notation that uses key value pairs, okay? Key value pairs inside curly braces, okay? When we see a database, DynamoDB, we're gonna see how DynamoDB works with that. And I'm gonna show you some JSON formats for you to understand how, for example, let's say name, column, Dunieski, last name, column, Otano. So that's JSON, simple. And then I can access that information by saying, give me the key name, and it will print what? Dunieski. Give me the last name key, and it will print Otano. So that's how JSON works, okay? You have a key, and by having the key, you get the value, okay? That's JSON. An API interaction is, an API is like a destination, right? It's an application programming interface. You're getting this, for the client, you're getting something from the web service, you're making an API call, okay? An API call here. And you're sending a request, a message request, and then you get the whatever you're looking for, and it sends a response message with whatever you got. That's what happens when you access a website. When you put google.com, you're just doing an API call. You're just sending a request to a DNS server, okay? Because the computer doesn't understand google.com. The computer understands IP addresses, right? And the DNS service, it translates the IP address, that domain, google.com, to an IP address, and then you get the information they're looking for. Machines don't understand domains, right? They understand IP address. And what's an IP address? An IP address is a location of a device in the network, okay? Let's say 192.168.20.0, okay? Because it has 32 bits. And then when you send a request, the DNS service will translate that google.com into an IP address, the one that Google has, and get the request from that server, and then the server sends a response to the client, which is the computer, right? So that's how it works. That's a web service. It's a piece of software that makes itself available over the internet using JSON or XML for the request and the response of an API interaction. This is what you see on your screen. It's an API interaction, right? You're just making calls to a different server. One server is a client as a computer, and is sending a particular web service provider. We're gonna see more of this later. So what is AWS? Keyword, secure. Secure. It's a secure cloud provider with more than 165 different services that include solutions for. I'm gonna mention this now. Do you have to learn the 165 different services for this certification? No, not at all. You need to know the core services that we're gonna see in this course, right? But AWS has more than 165 different services, right? Now, the more you advance in your certifications, the more services you're gonna see, and you're even gonna repeat the same services. Some of them are the same, but more in depth, right? Because it's a more difficult certification, right? Now, we're gonna include compute. We have EC2 in that section. We're gonna include storage and content delivery. For storage, we have S3, remember? Simple storage service, S3, RDS, relational database system, DynamoDB, MariaDB, all those databases, CloudFront for content delivery globally. Networking, we're gonna have the VPCs, the subnets, the security groups, the NACLs, which is the network access control list. The NACLs is the security group for all the subnets. Analytics, we have the Redshift, don't forget that. warehouse, enterprise application, mobile services, Internet of Things, developer tools, management tools, security and identity. That's IAM, don't forget that, application services. So as you can see, AWS has everything that we need to be secure in the cloud. AWS by category core services. So we have here in compute, Amazon EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2, AWS Lambda, which is a compute serverless service. We have auto scaling, to increase or decrease the capacity. AWS Elastic Beanstalk, that's a platform as a service that we're gonna see to run code and create all the resources that we need with code, okay? We're gonna see Elastic Container Registry is when we save the images of a container. We're gonna see Amazon Elastic Container Service, ECS, also known as ECS. That's for containers to run applications. And we're gonna see Docker here, probably, Docker. Amazon Lightsail, which is a service to start any small business, is the fastest way to start any small business. We're gonna see AWS Batch, which is used by developers to run jobs in batch. And networking, we're gonna see Amazon VPC, Virtual Private Cloud, Amazon Route 53, which is a global service. It's a DNS, domain name service, for translating that domain into an IP address. This is a global service. We're gonna see, talk about AWS Direct Connect. It's a way that you can connect to the cloud without using the internet with private links that AWS has. We have the elastic load balancing service for, this is a traffic cop that will evenly distribute the traffic to all the servers, in this case, the EC2 servers. Amazon S3 storage, simple storage service, Amazon S3. Amazon EBS Elastic Block Store. Remember, it's like a thumb drive for your server that you can detach or attach. Amazon CloudFront, like a CDN, it's a cloud content delivery network. It's a global service. Amazon Glacier, it's an S3 class, storage class that is used for archiving. That's a keyword, archiving, very important. We have the Amazon Elastic File System. It's a share Elastic storage service that are mounted in the network. AWS Snowball, this is for transferring data from your on-premises headquarters to the AWS. Is literally a truck that you can purchase this service, and they will go to your, or send like a container to your headquarters, and you will send it back in a box. Storage Gateway, this is a storage service that facilitates the hybrid. This is for hybrid infrastructures that you can have storage both in your on-premises infrastructure and your cloud infrastructure. AWS Snowmobile is similar to Snowball, but it's a little more in the petabytes field, more capacity. You need a bigger truck for this. In the database, we have Amazon RDS, relational database system, Amazon DynamoDB, that's the key value pair database, one table database, very important, very popular nowadays. Amazon Redshift of warehousing and analytics, don't forget this, warehousing. Migration services, when you want to migrate your database in your on-premises to the cloud, you will use database migration service. And we have Amazon Elastic Cache, which is a service for caching for your database. Let's say that you want to save specific information that the customers are requesting from your database, and you want to save a few trips to your database. What you have to do is just put Elastic Cache in front of your database, and the first time with when the customers access your database, they will do it directly to the database, but then after that, that information will be cached here. And then the next time when the customer comes to request the same information, it will come to the Elastic Cache and get the information from there. And it's gonna be real quick because it's already cached here. It doesn't have to go to a database anymore, okay? So this is one of the core services by category. Now we also have the foundational services. You don't need to know about all the services, just the core one for this certification, but they're talking about this. This is Elastic MapReduce, AWS Data Pipeline. This is for developing. Amazon Elasticsearch, this is for searching. Amazon Kinesis, this is for real-time information. Amazon Machine Learning. Amazon QuickSight, this is for creating widgets and visuals to see your data, and the business intelligence, BI, warehousing. Amazon Athena, this is to query the database using SQL language. You can query your S3 bucket and get this information in columns and rows. Very good. Amazon Workspace, like the word says, is a workspace in the cloud. Amazon Workmail has to do with the mails. Amazon Work Docs, documents in the cloud. AWS Mobile Hub, like mobile applications. Amazon SNS, very important. One of the main most important services in AWS. We're gonna see it because it's the one that notifies you in your email when something happens, when there's someone that access your S3 bucket, or when you have an alarm, and it will send you a notification to your email. Very important. AWS Device Farm for devices, Amazon Mobile Analytics, Amazon AWS Mobile SDKs, software development kits, that's for developers. Amazon Pinpoint. Amazon Pinpoint is for marketing emails, all that. Amazon IoT, Internet of Things, for devices that work with IoT, and AWS Greengrass. As you can see, there's a tons of services that work with different platforms and all that. And Amazon has you covered. It has everything that business owners need to migrate to the cloud.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Amazon Cognito. There is a Cognito ID.
Yes.
Is that more related to mobile services or specific? Because
it's related more to mobile services. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. It's for authentication. Okay.
Okay.
So, go ahead. So here we have developer tools, AWS Code Commit. I don't know if have you heard about GitHub?
Yeah.
Has anyone heard about GitHub? No?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, Code Commit is the version, GitHub version that AWS has. Same thing. Okay, Code Deploy. Have anyone heard about Jenkins?
Yes, I do.
Jenkins. So AWS Code Deploy is the Jenkins version. Well, actually, not Code Deploy, Code Build is the Jenkins version. AWS Code Pipeline, it's the pipeline where you have all these services together. AWS X-Ray is for debugging your application. CloudWatch monitoring, CloudFormation infrastructure as a code. We're gonna create EC2 instances using CloudFormation. You can create all the resources using CloudFormation. It's a coding thing. Well, as you can see, I'm not gonna go over everything, a single service, but you can take a look at that later. But you have a bunch of services here that have to do with different security and management application services. And as you can see, it's very broad. It has a lot of services, okay? So the basics, these are the ones that we want to talk mostly about in this class. Amazon EC2, Lambda, Elastic Beanstalk, Amazon VPC, all these guys here that I already mentioned. Okay. Management tool, we're gonna see these guys too. Amazon Cloud Watch, CloudFormation, config. We're gonna talk about all of them, okay? A little bit of all of them. AWS, access to AWS services. There are 3 ways you can access the AWS services. One is the management console. This is the one that we're gonna use the most. The command line, the CLI, which I asked you to please download. You can access the SEC2 instances and everything from the command line. And the software development kits, this is for developers. We're gonna focus more on the first 2. But this is good for your exam. Remember, don't forget the 3 ways you can access your AWS services. Okay, here we have the cloud adoption framework. Today it took longer because we had the introductions and explanation of the class. But tomorrow we start at 9. We're gonna have plenty of time to go over 2 PowerPoints every day. Okay, with the demonstrations that I'm gonna do as well. So there are 6 perspectives that the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework has: business, people, governance, platform, security, operations. Don't forget this is very important. I strongly recommend creating a mnemonics for this, like creating something that you can remember easily. Perspectives in planning, creating, managing, and supporting a modern IT service. Guidelines for establishing, developing and running AWS environments. Structure for business and IT teams to work together. Now, business perspective has to do with how will my architecture approach and align to technical deliveries to business imperatives. That's very important. So in this case, this one in general, the business people and governance and perspectives, they focus on business capabilities. So Maria, probably you want to go deeper with this on your own. It has to do with business, the business, the people, and the governance perspectives. They have to do with the business capabilities of the cloud. And the others 3, platform, security, and operations perspectives, they focus on technical capabilities. So 3 focus on business, and then 3 focus on the technical part. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes. So people, what skills are needed? So you have to train your employees to adopt this AWS cloud platform, because when you migrate to the cloud, you may have people that know nothing about the cloud. So you have to, upskill them. They have to become familiar with the cloud platform, the AWS console management console, and they have to know how to work in the cloud. And they have to be updated about the skills and organizational process that are necessary to ensure that the business governance in the cloud and management and measure cloud investments are there to evaluate the business outcomes. So that's very important. Security is the other one in the right-hand side. It's important because AWS, like I said before, takes security very seriously, very seriously. So how will you define and implement the required levels of security, governance, and risk management to achieve compliance? So you have to be compliant with AWS, and at the same time, AWS has to be compliant with whatever organization is above them. Okay. So summary. What did we cover today? We defined the cloud computing alternative implementation models. Can someone tell me what they are?
Yes.
Infrastructure. Oh.
Okay. Okay, yes. Go ahead.
No, you go. Sorry.
Okay, I think that we have three alternative implementation models that is all in the cloud, hybrid, and on-premise cloud. Private
Those
cloud.
are the deployment models.
Excuse me?
Those are the deployment models.
You have PaaS,
Is
SaaS, and
infra-
IaaS.
infrastructure as a service, product as a service, and software as a service.
Oh,
Platform,
yeah,
as a service.
yeah.
Platform as a service.
Mm-hmm.
Very important. Okay, so what are the 6 advantages of cloud computing?
You can go global in minutes.
Okay, good.
Capital expenses, virtual variable expenses.
Okay, what else?
Capacity planning.
Okay. Stop guessing, right? What else?
Stop guessing. Speed, agility,
Yes. What else?
economies of scale.
Massive economies of scale. Okay, good. So don't forget that, okay? So go over this PowerPoint today. It's gonna be a near pod. Go over your notes, and you should have gotten already an assignment to watch a video. What is AWS? So don't feel overwhelmed if you get a lot of assignments from me. You're gonna get some today. You should have gotten right now a quiz for both PowerPoints. Okay, they usually go around between 20 and 25 questions. Don't forget about the grade. Okay, there's no grade. What is important is the feedback that you get when you answer the entire quiz. Okay, you're gonna get a feedback, and that's what you have to focus on. Okay, there's no right or wrong right now. You have to take the exam, the quiz, and see if everything is about what we saw today. Okay, both PowerPoints. Take the quiz and watch for the feedback when you submit your quiz. Okay, watch. You're gonna have a lot of wrong answers because your answer may not match the feedback. Okay, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is the feedback, like I said before. Okay, so watch all the videos, become more familiar with the clouds, with the content that we saw today, and I hope to see you tomorrow. I hope
Wednesday, right?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm so used to having class every day. So Wednesday at 9 o'clock, and so what do you think about today's? Do you think you feel a little more comfortable with the cloud now, at least with the basics? A little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, a little.
Okay, yes, a little, because we just covered a little. We still have like, I think it's like 10 more PowerPoints to go, and it's gonna go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. But it's like going to the gym. The first day you go to the gym, you don't lift 50 kilograms, or 50, 100 pounds. You have to, become stronger and stronger, and then you can increase the weight. Same thing here. And don't lose heart if you don't understand everything now. I can tell you, I already watched the movie. You're beginning with the movie now. So I can tell you that the end is happy. No one dies. Everybody survives. Okay? So,
Dunieski, quick question. Nearpod, you can definitely access, the information there, but the content of the last slides, is not there. So basically, the Nearpod finishes in what it says, up next, unit 1. So does it seem that you haven't loaded yet, in Nearpod, the content?
It seems that Nearpod is sometimes it has some problems. What I'm gonna do, it's only the second PowerPoint, only the second one.
It seems so. It finishes on welcome to AWS Educate. So when you quickly briefed about the education part of the AWS, but then when you've explained all the topics on cloud computing and all that stuff, that is not included there.
Oh, it's in the second. It's in the second. In the classroom, there are 2 things for Nearpod slides.
There should There should be 2 PowerPoints in Nearpod.
Yeah.
In your Google Classroom platform.
So, but once within Nearpod, I don't access those 2. I have to go out to Classroom and then go from Classroom to Nearpod. Then is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Okay, okay.
That's the way. And you're going. Everything behind the scene is a code. There's a code for that particular slides. Those particular slides. That code is going to expire on June 5th. So you have to be able to get as much as possible from that PowerPoint. Okay. Get the notes. Save your notes, send the notes to your email right after you see it, so you don't lose anything, because this is a limited time. It's not forever,
Okay,
But Nearpod is a great tool. It's a great tool. You can follow me and take notes in your computer, which is great. Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you for today.
Yeah, there's a lot of quiet people here.
So our assignment is just like whatever we get an email from you on is all that we have to do for the homework before the next class.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, for the next class, I don't think there's any homework for the next class, like a prerequisite. Is that what you mean?
Well, like every time you give us an assignment, we should just plan to have that done by the next class.
If it has a due date.
Okay.
If it has a due date. If it doesn't, don't worry about any timeline and deadline. But you should do it. You should do it. You guys should do this. All of the assignments that I give you, that's very important. That's the time that you have to put in outside the class. Very important. Okay. And the videos are not long. By me, like 10 minutes. If there's one long video, it's for you to go deeper. It's not exactly what you need. Okay. So there might be 2 videos. One for becoming familiar with the service and another one to go deeper. That's optional. Okay. Okay. I want you guys to do something. Can you please leave the room and try to access it again to see if you can access it automatically, or I have to let you in again? I want you to try that for tomorrow. I don't want anyone to be left out. So can you enter?
What are we supposed to be doing?
No, I just wanted to, okay, it seems that I have to admit people again. Okay, guys, it seems that you cannot enter automatically. I will create another meeting link for you to be able to access the Zoom without me having to let you in.
I was able to do it, but I have a Zoom account.
Yeah, I can go.
Okay.
I can come in automatically as well.
So I strongly recommend everybody to create a Zoom account. So you can enter without me, because I may get lost in the class, like so caught up in the class and forget about the people that need to log in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was able to get back in.
Okay. All right.
You see, is this John?
Yes.
Yeah.
John,
Good afternoon.
the class is finished. I recorded the class, and then I will post it on YouTube so you can watch it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, now
All right.
Guys, I strongly recommend creating a Zoom account. So tomorrow you can access the class without any interruption. Okay?
Okay.
And be on the lookout for messages on Slack. It's very important to be on Slack.
So,
Okay?
Duneski, the assignments are going to come through Slack?
No, Google Classroom.
Oh, Classroom, okay.
You should have an email for every single assignment. You're going to get an email.
I have a question. Is there any reason why you don't use Amazon Chime?
Well, I already paid for this one.
Oh, okay.
And I'm more familiar with Zoom.
Okay.
But I promise that for the next class, we will commit. I will check on Chime.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you
Professor, I have a
Wednesday.
question.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I have a question.
You're free to leave, guys. You're free to leave if you want to.
Okay. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I have a question. I work on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. I work 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. The reason why I'm not at work today is because like lately I've had a headache and a fever. So I told them that I would go back to work on the 11th. So after that, will I be able to I know here I'm in Miami, so it's Eastern time. So will I be able to leave, like, I would say around like 12:20, 12:30 if I have to go to work? I mean, that'll be Pacific time for you.
So that will be 11:30 here?
I mean, 12, that will be 12 for you. Is it 12? No, 11. Yeah, 11.
No, that's okay. That's okay. As
20, 30.
As long as you watch the video and do the assignments, that's okay.
Okay. So I may go back to work before Monday. So.
Okay.
All right, Professor. Thank you. Have a good day.
Any other questions before we go?
You
recommend-
said that
I'm saying it again because there were some students that were out. I recommend creating a Zoom account. If you want to log in automatically and not wait to be let in, create a Zoom account. Okay?
Oh, it's probably because I haven't activated mine. That's probably why. Okay.
Because there were some people that were late today because I had to let them in, but I wasn't concentrating on the class. If you have a Zoom account, you don't need to be let in by me.
Okay.
Click on the link and that's it.
Okay.
Any other questions, my students?
Yes. This is my last question. So you said that the meeting will be available on YouTube, right?
Yes, I provide the link. I provide the link.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right. Thank you, Professor. Okay.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow, guys.
All right. Good.